My name is Mo, and I had the pleasure of producing the new Nocturnal track, Fake, and today I want to show you how I did it. In this video, I'm going to show you everything that I added to this track, starting with this intro part where I have added some electronic drums. And for this sound, I am using the Beatmaker Nemesis drums, which just have mix-ready, super punchy and good sounding electronic drums. They sound like this. I've also added another layer, which is using symphonic destruction from Heaviosity, and here I am using a gate to create this really stuttery sound. I am using this layer throughout the track to create some interest and some rhythmic drive. The intro with these elements in the finished mix sounds like this. Next, we enter into the main riff of the song, and all of the guitars for this song are programmed using Odin 3, and I was sent a DI which sounds like this. So yeah, a great sounding DI. If you want to pick up Odin 3 for your own productions, you can find an affiliate link in the pinned comment below. So of course, the first step when we want to make a guitar tone is the amplifier, and I'm using the 14 Nameless suite from Neural DSP here. I have the pedals on with these settings. I have the amp with this setting, and then I'm using an IR from Bogren Digital for the cabinet. Before the amplifier, I am adding this equalizer, so I'm removing some of the harsh stuff on top. I am also removing some honkiness here in the mids. It's a great idea to use the headphone icon when checking this equalizer before the amp, because it can give you an idea what this frequency range sounds like when going through the amplifier. Next, I have a two-step rocket that I like to use on guitar tones. First, some tape saturation, going into bass mint, which is removing some of this muddiness in the low end that is introduced through the tape machines. So all that is left is just the fat sound of the tape machine, none of the muddy stuff. Next, I'm using Soothe just to smoothen out the signal a little bit, remove some harshness. And here I also have two plugins that are doing similar things. So firstly, it's Pro MB, which is just keeping all of the frequencies super stable, especially these low ones on the palm mutes. But then I'm also using a new plugin from Oak Sound, which is called Bloom. It's doing very similar things to the multiband, so it's really not essential, but it's way more exact, I would say, than the multiband. And I can also choose how I want to sculpt the signal, so how much I want in the sides and the mid signal for different frequency bands. Next, I have this equalizer, just removing some top and removing some harshness up here, and also controlling the lows with a dynamic EQ. The stabilizer module from Ozone 11 to smoothen it out even further. This is not doing a ton though. And finally, just the Imager plugin to widen the signal a little bit. Next, we're moving into the verse section where I'm using a tremolo guitar. It's just the Omega amplifier, the amp doesn't matter as much, going into a shimmer plugin, and then a similar gate that I have on the Symphonic Destruction layer. So here's what that sounds like. And you can hear that I'm using it quite subtly in the finished mix, but still introducing some interest here in the verse. Next, we can have a look at the lead guitar. Now, this is also using Odin 3, and the DI signal sounds like this. So quite a fast-moving lead. I am using the Pliny X from Neural DSP for this, using the octave lead preset from 11 Nights. I really like what this octaver sound is doing to lead guitars. I did change the IR to a Bogren digital one. This is quite a thin one. I'm not looking for a lot of bass in this tone because it's a breakdown section. So we already have a lot of bassy elements going on here. So I really want a mid-focused lead tone. So here's what that sounds like. And I am widening the signal a little bit here using the micro shift. This is a chorus effect of sorts, which is widening the signal to make it sound a bit more interesting and take up a bit more space. And the final two plugins on this chain is just a lo-fi plugin here, followed by a tape stop plugin that is creating this effect on the end of the build-up. In the finished song, here's what the build-up sounds like going into the breakdown. This is quite a heavy and all-out assault kind of track, so I really wanted to make the breakdown section stand out. And a great way to do this is to introduce certain bass synths, and here I'm also using another copy of Odin 3, but using the Gojira plugin to pitch shift it down an entire octave to achieve this result. Otherwise, it's exactly the same tone as the main rhythm guitar, just slightly wider because I want this super wide sound for the breakdown. But as you can hear, I am just introducing it on certain notes, so it's not playing a copy of the rhythm guitars. You should ask yourself, what kind of rhythm do I want to enforce in this breakdown? So here you can listen with the main rhythm guitar, and you will hear that I am just really enforcing certain notes. This is a way to create dynamics in your breakdown, because if nothing is softer in dynamics, then nothing sounds heavy as well. This is why if you push a mix too far into a limiter, or you have a track which has a blast beat going on through 3 minutes straight, it doesn't sound very heavy because there are no dynamics, there are no differences. So this is a way to introduce those dynamics in quite a busy section. As well as the Odin, I have here a couple of bass synths. All of them are using the Anna 2 synth from Slate Digital, and this one is the first. This one is mirroring the guitar, so it's playing everything, but the coming ones are just playing the same notes as the Odin 3 layer that I just showed you. This one I've showed you in previous videos, so I won't do it again. It's using a bass plugin and then just creating a super distorted and wide signal. I have a Doom-inspired synth using the Anna 2 plugin. And finally, a sub-layer also using the Anna 2 synth. This one you won't hear if you don't have headphones, but it's very low. just like 40 hertz or something. And I'm usually adding these layers for choruses or breakdowns. And then in the finished mix, I can automate them up and down depending on how much subs I want in the mix. It's a great way to introduce some more power to a section, but it's also easy to overdo it. So that's why I like to keep it on a separate track. Okay, so let's have a listen to the finished breakdown in the mix where also the lead guitar comes in. And you can listen for these layers that are emphasizing certain notes. So it's really hitting super hard on these specific hits. Next, we're moving into the final part of the song, and here we have a break before the final chorus, where I'm using a choir library called Olympus, which I really love. I'm also using Labs by Spitfire. This is a free plugin, so if you don't have this, just download it because it has amazing free sounds. Here I'm using a piano sound, which I'm just feeding into Shimmer by Valhalla. Such a beautiful sound. I have here 2 pad sounds, also using Labs. And I really wanted to introduce some harmonic interest in this final chorus. So I am adding actually quite a lot of chords that I thought fitted well to the riff. So also adding another choir sample, just using the A vowel instead of the U. And this is the final production layer. Okay, let's now check out this section in the final mix. I'm going to play the break and then moving into the chorus. If you enjoy this kind of content, please consider liking the video as it really helps out, and also subscribe to the channel for more videos like this one.